Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm Wes Decker, and over the years we've heard of some less than intellectually challenging courses being offered at various institutes of higher learning domestically. There's been everything from surviving the zombie apocalypse, disasters, catastrophes, and human behavior at Michigan State University to Duke University's The Selfie, just in case you want to document your zombie experience on social media, I suppose. Of course, no Ivy League education would be complete without the University of Pennsylvania's wasting time on the internet. Imagine listing that one in bold type on your resume for a prospective employer. The Fashion Institute of New York is more than willing to take a chunk of your tuition and put it toward pattern making for dog garments. And you can exercise your in-state break on tuition here in Maryland at Frostburg by signing up for the Science of Harry Potter. But last week, Switzerland took things to an all-new international level. The Lucerne University of Applied Sciences and Art announced that it will be rolling out not just a class, but a full-fledged diploma program in yodeling. That's right. Come next academic year, students can pursue bachelor's and even master's degrees in the form of singing traditionally used by Swiss herdsmen to communicate in the mountains. So to put this in perspective, by the fall of 2018, there will be students at Lucerne University who, when you ask them what their major is, will respond with yodeling. They won't be going into student loan debt for a career in medicine, engineering, business, or economics, but yodeling. Yodeling has evidently been enjoying a resurgence in Switzerland, with several examples of the art of using one's voice to alternate between normal and falsetto showing up on popular albums there last year. Ahead on the show, some of everything except yodeling. Basketball and hockey coming up before I'm through. While it hasn't been easy being green relative to wrestling in the county, three Rebels who have helped put South Hagerstown on that map will be here in a bit. And the leader of the Herald Mail beatboxing group, Dan E. Fresh Kaufman, joins me to recap the 1A, 2A West Region Indoor Track and Field Championships right after this.
Champions are not merely born, they're forged in the crucible that is flag football. With equal parts turf, pigskin, and heart. That's why Buffalo Wild Wings donates to boys and girls clubs across the country to not only help thousands of kids learn about teamwork on and off the field, but to help them fulfill their destiny, to shred defensive lines, terrorize the secondary, and emerge bonded as true champions.
Antietam Media Services has been covering local events in our community for over 4 decades. Parades, baseball games, showcase of marching bands, and this past Tuesday, the entire Antietam broadband crew covered boys basketball action from North Hagerstown High.
Watch replays of the South Hagerstown Rebels and the North Hagerstown Hubs, Saturday and Sunday at noon each day on Channel 6 and 806. And download our WCL on-the-go app to watch anytime on your mobile device.
When you're sick or hurt and can't be seen by your regular doctor, you just want to feel better faster. Make a convenient appointment or simply walk into Meritus Urgent Care, where you can receive attention from our caring professionals, from sprains and strains to sore throats, earaches, and other ailments that are not life-threatening. Meritus Urgent Care has you covered with on-site labs and x-rays and much more. We're conveniently located on Pennsylvania Avenue in Hagerstown at the Sylvania Center. Feel better faster with Meritus Urgent Care.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. We continue now with indoor track and field, and joining me is Herald Mail Assistant Sports Editor Dan Kaufman. Welcome back to the show, Dan.
Always a pleasure.
Well, we're fresh off the region meets for 1A, 2A West. That was on Saturday at HCC. Long day there, but this is the opportunity for athletes to qualify for state, so it meant a heck of a lot. Boonesboro just continues to pile up the region championships. On the boys' side, very impressive winning by 45 points as a team.
Correct, and both teams, both the boys and the girls team, won 1A West titles for the third straight year. And on the boys' side, they were led by Donovan McClellan, who had a real banner day in the middle distances, winning the 500 in a personal best time of 108.80. which puts him strongly in line for a possible state championship. What took it pretty easy in the 800, running only a 2:09, because he knew he had to conserve energy for a 4x400 effort. And in that 4x400, he ran the anchor leg and probably closed down about a 40-meter gap. Just running down Catoctin, and that was his 4th victory, because he also anchored the 4x800 early in the meet. So a 4-title day for Donovan McClellan kind of set the bar for everything else that happened that day. He really looks like he's primed and ready to go at the state meet.
The other Boonesboro boys winner, no surprise here, Nick Kidwell in the shot put.
Yeah, when you can throw 51 feet, which isn't even close to a personal best for him, but he had the flu, so he was in a severely weakened state. When you can throw the shot put 51 feet when you're under the weather, that's pretty nice. And of course, he's far and away the leader in 1A in the shot put, so he's also looking like he's going to repeat as a state champion.
And Boonesboro with 7 second-place finishes to sort of buoy their cause for the day. Now, will this be enough going forward for them as they go back and try to defend their state title?
Going to be close. Coach Walter said when she scored the meet out prior to the region meet that she either had her boys ranked 2nd or 3rd in the state, looking at all the results that are on athletic.net. So it's going to be a challenge. Obviously, everybody's going to have their best days there. If you can turn 6th or 7th place finishes at states into 4th or 5th place finishes, those points start adding up, and that's the sort of thing that, it's a team-wide effort. It's not just McClellan and the other stars. It's all the depth coming and showing up.
Yeah, they get 16 kids through to states as they all qualify in 1A. Also in 1A West, another winner from Smithsburg, Sam Ewing in the 55 hurdles.
Right, he's been a little bit overshadowed by South Hagerstown's Andre Turi for most of this season, but as far as Class 1A goes, he's still right up there, looking at a possible top 3 finish at the state meet. Ran 8.29 at the region meet. His personal best this year is 8.13, and I think he feels pretty good about his chances. Again, there's a really good kid out there that's in the 7.59 range. So a state title is going to be tough to come by, but certainly a top 3 finish is well within his reach.
And he leads, he's one of 8 Smithsburg Leopards who will be going to states. And then you've got Evan Wachter from Hancock, who rounds out the Washington County contingent. He finished 3rd in the shot put. Over on the girls' side, an even more dominating performance by the Boonesboro girls as they put 72.5 points between themselves and 2nd place FSK.
Yeah, and they had even more depth as far as the kids that they qualified for states than the boys did. Really impressive all-around performances from a lot of people. And of course, the standout, as she usually is, was Cameron Harper, winning the 500 in 1:21.41, and then set a personal best in the 800, which that was her kind of her target race at the region meet. She ran 2:27.57 in an event that Boonesboro went 1, 3, and 4 in. But yeah, Cameron, another excellent day. Also ran the anchor leg in a relay victory. So again, she's looking real sharp, and that 800 she's really improved in this year.
Yeah, I've seen improvement all year long for her, and obviously you want to save that up for the right time. And I thought it was interesting when she talked to you afterwards, she sort of referenced that a little bit. Don't want to peak too early. Man, it's such a tough thing to do because as a competitor on the track, you always sort of want to let it all out each time you're at. You want to improve each time, but then you got to remember the big prize waits at the end.
Correct, and in the 500, which is kind of the race that she put it on cruise control a little bit. I mean, it'd be nice to run 1:21 in cruise control for most people, but there's a state contender out there that's run 1:16 that she's going to be up against, and her personal best again is high 1:19. So she's going to have to bring it really, really well in the 500 at states to get a 3rd straight title in that event. But again, the 800's shown lots of improvement, and we all know don't put anything past her because she's a competitor and she's going to fight.
The other winners from the county came from Smithsburg. Lauren Daniels winning a couple of races on Saturday.
Yeah, the 55 in 7.55 seconds and the 300 in 42.27. She's a 2-time state winner in the 300. She won the 55 indoors as a sophomore. Now she's going to have some serious competition. There's more competition in the sprints in 1A this year than there have been in the previous 2 years. But on the positive side, I didn't think she looked all that great at the county meet. I thought maybe she was going through something. She says she's been perfectly fine health-wise, but she looked refocused at the region meet, looked better than she has in the last month. So usually the big meets bring the best out of her, and I expect we're going to see much the same at this state meet.
Yeah, I think that result was a big confidence booster for her, and again, at the right time of the year. And then Emily Keeley wins the pole vault from Smithsburg to round out our county winners.
And she's tied for #1 seed, I believe, in Class 1A, barring whatever happens in these other region meets.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the girls because you have teams moving down who were in 2A last year who were big-time competitors.
Friendly.
Yeah, Friendly was 3rd last year. Lackey was 2nd, and now Catoctin, who was 4th last year. Catoctin doesn't seem to be quite as loaded as that team was last year, but nonetheless, the landscape has changed a little bit in terms of Boonesboro trying to defend that particular title, but the Warriors do get 18 girls through, so that's good news for them. Over in 2A West, Williamsport gets 2 boys to qualify for states. One, Iggy Chalker in the 3200. And then over on the girls' side, Michaela Klein, 2nd in the shot put at regionals. So for Williamsport, 4 athletes get through there. But, I mean, this is the culmination of everything that you work for all season long. So to get there is priority #1. And then once you get there, anything can happen.
Yeah, and a couple of these performances just getting there. I mean, Chalker, I think, ran 10th in that 3200, but got in on time. So had that time goal to meet and got there. And Michaela Klein didn't have her best day in finishing 2nd in the girls' shot put. She's somebody who's been up in the 35-foot range and through 33.0 and a quarter or something like that at the region meet. But she's somebody that, with her best throw, she can be a state title contender. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we still have 3A qualifiers to go yet, 3A West, with North and South Hagerstown coming up on Thursday down at the PG Sportsplex. So we don't know about that yet as we tape here today. But Dan, thanks for being here. Appreciate you kind of gutting it out today, and I mean that literally. Thank you.
I'm feeling not too bad right at the moment. So always a pleasure to be here, like I said, and thank you for the opportunity.
I am back right after this. I've got 3 South Hagerstown wrestlers who are helping to turn that program around. We'll talk about that in just a moment.
At Hamilton Nissan, we know you've got places to go, so let's travel together. The Nissan Rogue, plenty of room for you, and plenty of room for him. With nearly 40 cubic feet of cargo space, everyone will be using the Rogue for everything, all the time. And on occasion, you'll find an evening for yourselves, and the Nissan Rogue will be right there with you. Hamilton Nissan. Let's travel together. Come see us on the Dual Highway.
Antietam Media Services has been covering local events in our community for over 4 decades. Parades, baseball games, showcase of marching bands, and this past Tuesday, the entire Antietam broadband crew covered boys basketball action from North Hagerstown High.
Watch replays of the South Hagerstown Rebels and the North Hagerstown Hubs, Saturday and Sunday at noon each day on Channel 6 and 806. And download our WCL On The Go app to watch anytime on your mobile device.
Welcome back to the show. We continue now with wrestling, and I'm joined by 3 South Hagerstown Rebels, Caleb Everhart, Michael Tunis, and Derek Hanna. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thanks for being here. Caleb, let me start with you. This program, needless to say, is on the upswing, headed in the right direction. I mean, what kind of a sense of pride do you take in the fact that you've been part of this as this program has really moved to the fore within the county?
I mean, it definitely feels good for us as a team. I mean, I know we all work hard, but I feel like us 3, there's a bunch of leaders in the room, but I feel like we've all stepped up throughout the year. So it definitely feels good.
What's made a difference at South Hagerstown? Because you've been there for a couple of years now. You've experienced this a little bit. But what have you seen that's changed that has elevated South Hagerstown wrestling?
I mean, I know throughout the offseason, all the guys try to get new guys into the room and try to recruit like people from other sports to come wrestle. And they're all talking about, oh, the wrestling match, we're going to go there tonight. And it just, I think, ups everyone's game throughout the season, knowing that people are going to come and watch us.
And Michael, with all of those eyes on you, obviously you want to perform as well as you possibly can. What kind of difference does the weight room make and all of the preparation that leads up to getting on the mat?
I mean, it's huge, obviously. Like, you can be bigger, faster, and stronger, but it comes down to just who works harder. Like, comes on the mat, in the weight room, and whenever the lights are turned off and the spotlight comes down. Because you can work all hard you want during the off season, but if you go lazy whenever you're on the mat and the clock's ticking down, then you're going to lose.
Tell me a little about your approach and what you've learned over the years that's helped to make you successful.
I've learned to just always keep going. Like, you won't hit every shot, you won't get every takedown, but as long as you always keep moving and keep being aggressive, you're going to hit some eventually. And, like, you won't beat everyone, but you can always try.
Well, you beat North Hagerstown this year. Can you tell me just how much that meant to you and to the team itself?
It was huge. I remember last year we only won one match against North, and then to come back and win this year is an amazing feeling.
Derek, last year at Counties, I think people started taking notice of South Hagerstown a little bit when you guys finished second there. So what was the mission coming into this year playing off of that?
Fill some spots, come back stronger than we were last year.
And for you personally, over 100 wins now. Tell me what that milestone means to you, being one of 49 wrestlers in Washington County to ever get to triple-digit victories.
It's pretty big. Not a lot of people get to it, and it's kind of a big accomplishment to get to it.
And for you, last year, you are able to win a county title, coming back now as a senior and being part of this resurgence at South Hagerstown. Talk about what your goals are for the remainder of this year.
I'd like to continue on to regionals and states and hopefully compete in them and also get the team going as well.
And speaking of which, Caleb, now this will have happened, I must say, from our timing standpoint, the region duels will have happened, but South Hagerstown going to the 3A West region duels. How big a goal was this for the team when the season began? And just from a reality standpoint, for that to have happened, I mean, how good does this feel?
I mean, it feels real good because South High's never been there before. So to say, like, we were the team to be the first to go, it feels really good because I know we're all going to look back as a team and be like, I remember when we were the first team to ever go. So it feels really good.
And as far as you're concerned, last year you were able to get all the way to states as a freshman, which is a pretty big accomplishment.
Thank you.
This year as a sophomore, how far can you go?
I mean, last year it didn't end too well for me. First round I ended up breaking my arm. But this year I'm looking to come back a little bit stronger, compete, hopefully end up placing or even winning it. But I definitely want to go to states and see what I can do there.
Michael, I know Coach Ashby has talked a lot this year about getting as many guys to states as possible, and obviously this is the time of year when everything ramps up. So from the standpoint of the team itself, how good are you feeling right now? I mean, what's the confidence level with this team?
I mean, I think we have all the confidence in the world. I think whenever we go into a match, we just go in there and we think that we can win, and all of us try to win, but we have all the confidence in the world.
How have you seen that change in your time that you've been at South Hagerstown? You know, because those of us kind of on the outside looking in have acknowledged, you know, just what's happened from the wins and losses standpoint, but can you explain just how you've kind of seen that change from the inside?
Well, I think it all started in the room because I remember my freshman year we had 8 or 9 kids, so there wasn't much hope to start out with. But then my sophomore year, we got a bunch of kids in, and everyone just started working hard, and iron sharpens iron, and that just boosted our confidence.
And Derek, last year, as I said, second at counties. Is it realistic to think that this team could capture a county championship this year?
Yeah, if we work as hard as we could. We competed with Williamsport last time we wrestled them, so if we all bring our A game, we could definitely compete and possibly beat them. Yeah,
and when you look back at something like, say, the Rebel Duels, where you went 7-2 there, and you were very, very competitive against both Boonesboro and Williamsport, I mean, it certainly sets you up well going forward. With the region duels coming up this week, again, you'll know the results by the time the show airs, but that has to be a source of pride for you too as a senior. I mean, you've seen a lot of things unfold there at South Hagerstown. What's that mean to you to be going to the region duels?
We've definitely progressed over the years. My freshman year, we had a full lineup, but it wasn't the best. And this year to have a full lineup, or almost a full lineup, and just be as good as we are is awesome.
Yeah, well, you guys have put a lot of hard work into this. It's great to see that South Hagerstown team really coming to the fore and competing within the county. And best of luck going forward with everything the rest of the season. And thanks so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm back right after this. I've got a little bit of everything to close the show. Hockey and basketball still ahead in just a moment.
Antietam Media Services has been covering local events in our community for over 4 decades. Parades, baseball games, showcase of marching bands, and this past Tuesday, the entire Antietam broadband crew covered boys basketball action from North Hagerstown High.
Watch replays of the South Hagerstown Rebels and the North Hagerstown Hubs, Saturday and Sunday at noon each day on Channel 6 and 806. And download our WCL On-the-Go app to watch anytime on your mobile device.
Antietam Broadband's Flight Gigabit service is ultra-high-speed internet delivered by a direct fiber connection. We are one of the few communities in the country to have it. But what does it mean? It means businesses will want to move here, which means more jobs, better jobs. It means access to world-class infrastructure for healthcare, education, and nonprofits. It means enhanced social and economic well-being. That's why it won the 2017 Leading Edge Award from the Chamber of Commerce. Flight Gigabit from Antietam Broadband, changing how people connect.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. Before I get to hockey and hoops, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that in addition to South Hagerstown, 2 other county schools had earned berths in their respective region wrestling dual meet championships on Wednesday. Williamsport was back in the 2A West title hunt for the first time since 2015 as the 3 seed at Damascus, while Boonesboro entered the 1A West fray as the 3rd seed there at Southern Garrett, competing in the region duels for the 2nd time in school history. Winners from the region punched their ticket to the state duels on Saturday in Waldorf. Next week, we'll get you ready for what promises to be an incredibly competitive county tournament scheduled for a week from Saturday at Boonesboro. Oh, and perhaps he'll be back by then, but what is for certain is that North Hagerstown's Aaron Brooks will be a Nittany Lion starting in 2019. The all-world star announced his decision last week to continue his education at Penn State and his intention to get his hand raised there often. Brooks is still on the mend from a broken foot sustained a month ago, but his return is anticipated soon with counties, regions, and states still ahead. Aaron's quest to become Washington County's first ever 4-time state champion remains on hold for now, pending the green light from his orthopedist. On to basketball, and for the girls of Williamsport, they might start thinking about annexing the rest of the county because they simply own it. The Lady Wildcats haven't lost to a Washington County public school opponent in over 4 years now. It's been since February 7th, 2014 at South Hagerstown. And last Tuesday, Williamsport's winning streak was in jeopardy at Smithsburg when Leah Lindsay knocked down this 3-pointer to push the Leopards to the lead 34-33 with 6:20 remaining in the 4th quarter. It took the Wildcats nearly 3 minutes, but they forged back in front on Jordan Yakel's stick back. And then another 2 minutes went by before Janae Holman followed her own shot to increase the Williamsport advantage with 90 seconds left. So with the Leopards now needing 3 and time winding down, it was Olivia Hirsch who delivered the game-tying shot with 29.9 seconds remaining. Then, out of a timeout, Smithsburg elected to foul Elena Palomar, but the Wildcat point guard refused to play along with the Leopard strategy, instead converting both free throws. Now trailing by 2, Smithsburg got another open look, but this time the result was a Yakel rebound and a Leopard foul. And just like Palomar moments earlier, Yakel came up big at the line, hitting both of her attempts to sew up Williamsport's 39th consecutive victory over a county public school in clutch fashion. As for the late game heroics by a pair of sophomores, they weren't lost on Wildcats head coach Kevin Murphy.
Well, those 4 free throws were huge. You know, Elena hitting both of those. And then moments later, after we got a defensive stop, Jordan hitting both of her free throws were huge. You know, go 4 for 4 on the foul line. The last 30 seconds of the game pretty much sealed the deal and got us the victory.
Then Williamsport sealed the deal on Friday against Brunswick 50-40 thanks to double-doubles. For the first time since December 15th, 2015, the Cats had not one, but 2 players recorded double-double in the same game. Yackel scored 11 points and grabbed 10 rebounds, while Holman paced all scorers with 21 points and pulled down a team-high 11 boards. Performances that Coach Murphy offers explanations for.
It's been interesting the last couple of weeks. We moved Janae from the point to the wing, and she doesn't play much point anymore, and it's really expanded her game, both rebounding, defensively, scoring, and with her getting that double-double the other night against Brunswick, it's because she's getting more opportunities on the wing. Jordan Yackel, with her double-double, she's just been so much more at ease and relaxing the last couple of weeks as well. You're seeing her get better and better as the last few games and as the last month has been there. About probably November, December, she was struggling a little bit with her shot and finishing, and then as we hit the January and February, she's done a really good job of on the boards for us and as our leading rebounder.
Players improving and starting to play their best heading toward the postseason. Isn't that the Williamsport way? In boys basketball, the St. James way is apparently to challenge yourself in the most masochistic manner possible. The Saints aren't into moral victories, but the mere fact that they survived a 9-day stretch that saw them face the numbers 2, 3, and 4 teams in the country, 3 games in which they held leads or were within a single possession in the second half of each, is remarkable, especially given that Coach Preet's team was minus 1 starter and nursing another one through limited minutes. The St. James Invitational provided 2/3 of that gauntlet because after defeating Benedictine Prep last Thursday, 67-51 to advance to the semifinals, St. James butted heads with 2-time reigning and defending tourney champion St. Benedict's on Friday and never blinked, even when down by 12 starting the 4th quarter. The Saints ran off 11 unanswered points to pull within 43-42 with 3:43 to play, but the 3rd-ranked team in the nation bounced off the ropes to outscore St. James 9-2 the rest of the way. And on Saturday, the Saints rallied to within a point of number 4 Findlay Prep in the 3rd quarter, only to run out of gas in the end, 81-73. And while it's true that the record will show that St. James finished 4th at its own tournament, it's also true that being respectable and earning respect are 2 different things. And it's more than fair to say that the Saints accomplished plenty of the latter the last week and a half. For the last 3+ months, the ice became a playground for Washington County North Stars captain Harris Blackwood. Despite opposing teams gearing up to stop him, he toyed with them and oftentimes left them only hoping to contain him. On January 22nd, in just his 36th game as a North Star, the junior surpassed the 100-point mark in his career. But there was more. His 38 goals and 49 total points led the state this season. An amazing feat accomplished in just 15 games, and one for which Blackwood is willing to share the credit.
I feel really blessed that I was able to achieve that. And again, a lot of credit to my teammates too to help me get there. It's just really nice knowing that I was able to do that though as a junior.
And he's soon to be in rarefied air as an inductee into the Maryland State Hockey League Hall of Fame, which Blackwood says is a really big deal.
I think that's what means the most out of it all, truthfully, especially doing it as a junior. Meant a lot when the league commissioner came down and gave me the puck and everything for 100 points, which I think put me in there. And I was just really happy when it happened, just to know that I accomplished something in high school hockey that meant a lot.
And while it means a lot for now, there's more he wants to accomplish going forward, and for good reason.
I would love one day for hockey to be my job, and they always say if you love your job, then you never work a day in your life, and so I feel one day if I just keep working hard enough, I'll be able to have a job that I love.
Congratulations and best wishes for continued success to Harris Blackwood. Incidentally, the North Stars finished their season with a record of 7-7-1. This seems like such a tame end to the show this week compared to last week when Nick Kidwell was shot putting cantaloupes out in the parking lot. I guess if I had thought of it earlier, I could have asked Harris to bring his hockey stick over and fire a few moon pies at Kaufman. Well, there's always next year. Next week, we'll reconvene with a combination of wrestling, basketball, and indoor track. Thanks for watching this time, and I'll see you then on The Inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get up in the streets.